Well, hello everybody. It seems on this day, Mother's Day, that my browser is out of date. Apart from my internet not working, I got that working. Now my browser's out of date and won't let me load anything to Facebook Live. So, kia ora koutou. Here I am, rather sideways, a little bit frustrated, and ready to offer you a trauma-sensitive yoga practice on this day 46, Mother's Day 2020. So, because I need to kind of balance the phone up high, and it's going to take me a wee while to set that up, I'm going to offer a floor practice. So hopefully you can see that, hopefully you can hear that, and it'll probably only be for about 20 minutes, and I will offer a longer progressive muscle relaxation at the end of the practice. So when you're ready, perhaps finding a way to be on your mat. So that might be seated. It could be lying down. You might be standing. So all the forms can be done standing. So wherever you are, perhaps checking out where you're located. Just checking out where you are today, Sunday, day 46, Rahui, 2020. Maybe looking behind. And then if you like, bringing your awareness to notice where you make contact with the ground, the surface beneath you, and you may like to move your torso, perhaps moving from one side to your other side. So maybe moving. You may choose to move forward and back. That's another option. Maybe moving forward and back, or perhaps one side to your other side. And there is a possibility, and it's only a possibility, that you might feel sensation where you make contact with the ground. You get to choose how fast you want to move. Guiding yourself back to your neutral. If you like, sitting up tall. And sometimes on a mat it's useful to have some books or a block, maybe a small towel or cushion to sit on, and that will often help support your back, your spine. So finding your expression of seated maunga, seated mountain. Perhaps bringing your shoulders over your seat. If you like, bringing your head to balance on your shoulders. Maybe taking a breath. Maybe noticing that your breath comes and goes, ebbs and flows, and it's always there. If you like, you could turn your palms out and perhaps explore lifting and lowering your arms. How you lift and lower is up to you. If you're interested, you could coordinate your breathing with your movement. So perhaps breathing in as you move in one direction. Maybe breathing out as you move in the other direction. Maybe moving your arms. And sometimes we can be guided how we want to move by what we feel in our body. When you're ready, finding your way back to neutral. And if you like, experimenting with lifting through your torso, maybe your front torso, lifting your chin and looking up. So sometimes if you're on all fours, we call these cats and cows. I'm going to remain seated today. And the other form could be tucking your chin, curling your spine and looking down. So if you like, you could put these two movements together in your own rhythm. Or maybe you want to explore one movement. It's your choice. So perhaps moving your chin and looking up, possibly curling your spine and looking down. If you are moving your spine, you may notice sensation in your spine, although it's quite normal to notice nothing at all. Finding your way back to your neutral in your own time. Then if you like, exploring a twist. So you may like to bring your right hand to your left knee and your left hand behind you, possibly sitting up tall. If you're interested, you could turn your chin to your left shoulder. If it's available, maybe experimenting with twisting. Perhaps noticing what's happening in your body. Anytime you're welcome to come out of the form, possibly switching to your other side. So maybe bringing your left hand to your right knee, your right hand behind you and sitting up tall. If you're interested, perhaps turning your chin to your right shoulder and breathing. Maybe twisting. And you're welcome to switch. So maybe switching from one side to your other side, perhaps staying for a little bit longer on one side. Choice is yours. There is no right or wrong. You might like to bring your awareness to notice that you're breathing. Perhaps noticing the sensation of your breath. Finding your way back to your center in your own time. And if you like, moving to explore leaning to your side. So one option could be to arc your spine. Another option could be to bring your hand to the ground, possibly raising your other arm and breathing. If it's available, you may like to look towards your raised arm. It's a choice. You're welcome to switch at any time, possibly arcing to your other side, perhaps bringing your hand to the ground, Papatūānuku, or possibly raising your other arm. So if you're leaning to your side, you're welcome to switch at any time. You might feel sensation through the side of your torso. If it's of interest, you could look towards your upper arm. Finding your way back to your neutral in your own time. Finding your expression of seated moanga and breathing. you're interested in bringing your awareness to your face, I'm going to offer a couple of forms moving your face. But first, I'm going to offer you the possibility of bringing your hands to your eyes. So this may not be something you wish to do, and you don't have to do that. But if you like, bringing your hands together and rubbing them quite fast. You might notice that they get warm. And maybe rubbing your hands, you might notice that they get warm. And if you like, bringing your elbows to your knees and resting your eyes or your cheekbones in your hands. You might feel the sensation of warmth. So if you like, rubbing your hands quite briskly together, maybe bringing the palms of your hands to your upper cheekbones, leaning forward and resting your eyes in your hands. At any time, you're welcome to repeat that, perhaps rubbing your hands. You might hear the noise of my hands rubbing. If you like, bringing your hands to your cheeks and resting your eyes in your hands and breathing. You might feel the warmth of your hands. And as you move back to neutral, perhaps leaving your eyes closed briefly, maybe moving your eyes, perhaps lifting and lowering your eyes, maybe looking up and down, or side to side. And breathing. And if you're interested, perhaps experimenting with turning the sides of your mouth up. So maybe exaggerating and turning the sides of the corners of your mouth up. And breathing. It's rather hard to talk like this. At any time you can release that form or go back there. In your own time, finding your way back to your neutral. And if you're interested, perhaps moving to explore folding forward. So if you're folding forward, you may like to have your legs crossed or extended. So today I'm going to have mine extended. So maybe extending your legs, if you like, having some support under your seat. And then in your own time, maybe bringing your hands to your knees and tucking your chin, or perhaps bringing your hands further down your legs or onto your mat. You might feel sensation under your legs. You might feel nothing at all. So if you're interested, leaning forward, and at any time you're welcome to bring your hands behind you and maybe leaning back. If you're leaning back, you might feel sensation in your shoulders or possibly your abdomen, or maybe not at all. So maybe leaning forward, perhaps tucking your chin and breathing. You're welcome to move between leaning forward and back. Maybe leaning forward and back in your own rhythm. Then if you like, finding your way back to your expression of seated, moanga. Maybe bring your shoulders over your seat. Maybe moving your head to balance on your shoulders. If you're interested, perhaps bringing your sole of your foot to the side of your leg. You're welcome to place it at your ankle or further up your leg. And it's always okay to use something to support your leg. And you could choose to sit up or to lean forward, perhaps moving. So if you like, experimenting with bringing the sole of your foot to the side of your leg. Maybe moving, perhaps sitting up tall or leaning forward. Choice is yours. In your own time, you may like to switch, bringing your opposite foot to the side of your leg. And breathing. Perhaps leaning forward, maybe sitting upright, or possibly moving. You might notice your breath is with you, ebbs and flows, comes and goes, and it's always there. So when you're ready, perhaps guiding yourself back to seated moanga, and if you're interested in exploring boat form, I suppose we could call it waka. What you may like to do is perhaps bringing your feet flat on the ground and maybe raising your arms. If it's available, you may like to lean back, perhaps lifting your heels off the ground, maybe lifting and lowering. You might feel sensation in your abdomen, maybe your legs, or possibly not at all. So if you like, bringing your feet flat on the ground, perhaps extending your arms. If it's available, maybe lifting your feet and breathing. Guiding yourself back to your neutral in your own time. So from here, you may like to move into what we sometimes call child form. So if you like, sitting back on your ankles. Now you could have your knees together or apart. Maybe resting your forehead on your hands. You're always welcome to extend your arms. So perhaps bringing your awareness to notice that your breath is with you in whatever form you are, maybe moving, perhaps bringing your awareness to notice where you make contact with the ground, maybe noticing that you're breathing. Knowing you're always welcome to move in whatever form you're in. If you like, you could move on to your abdomen. maybe extending your arms, maybe extending your legs. And if you like, lifting and lowering your leg and arm, or maybe lifting and lowering your arm, perhaps lifting and lowering your leg. So maybe moving your limbs. And breathing. If you're lifting and lowering, you might notice a change in sensation where you make contact with the ground. You're welcome to move at your own pace. And when you're ready, perhaps pressing with your hands, possibly moving back into what we sometimes call child form. And breathing, noticing your breath is with you, ebbs and flows, comes and goes. You're welcome to extend your arms if you wish. Always knowing that you can move in your form. So when you're ready, you may like to move onto your back. And perhaps exploring moving your knees. So one option could be to step your feet apart. And maybe moving your knees from one side to your other side. A bit like windscreen wipers. Sorry. I probably shouldn't have called it that. So if you like, stepping your feet apart and possibly moving your knees from one side of your mat to the other side of your mat. You can move in your own rhythm, at your own pace. Another option could be to lift your feet off the ground and possibly bringing your hands around your knees, maybe moving your knees forward and back, or from one side of your mat to the other side of your mat. You might notice the change in sensation where you make contact with the ground, the surface beneath you. Guiding yourself back to your neutral in your own time. And if you like, finding a resting form that works for you. That could be legs up the wall, could be on your back, your side, your abdomen, in a chair. I'm going to offer a brief progressive muscle relaxation. So you might want to set yourself up so you can stay here a little bit longer, maybe with a rug or a cushion or something under your knees. They're all options. So when you're ready, perhaps bringing your awareness to notice what you feel in your body. Then if you like, taking a breath, maybe allowing yourself to feel the support of the surface beneath you. If you're interested, you could scrunch the muscles in your face, and maybe tightening the muscles in your face. If you like, holding your muscles in your face, the count of 4, and 3 and 2 and 1, and allowing those muscles to move back into a more normal space. If you like, lifting your shoulders, perhaps holding your shoulders, maybe lifting your shoulders to your ears, and breathing in your own time, allowing your shoulders to move back to their normal space. In your own time, maybe closing your hands, maybe closing your fingers, perhaps holding your fingers closed tightly, and breathing. When you're ready, allowing your hands to move back to their normal space. If you're interested, you could pull the muscles in your abdomen towards your spine, maybe pulling the muscles in your abdomen towards your spine, if you like, holding them there for the count of 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, allowing the muscles to move back to where they normally reside. Then, if you like, flexing your feet, so maybe bringing your toes towards your nose. So maybe flexing your feet, perhaps flexing both feet, and breathing. Perhaps holding your feet tightly. And then in your own time, allowing them to move back to their normal space. If you're interested, perhaps taking a breath. If you notice any tension in your body, you might want to tighten that area, maybe holding that area briefly. And then allowing it to release. So when you're ready, maybe taking a breath, perhaps bringing your awareness to notice the support of the surface beneath you. And as your breath comes again, allowing yourself to feel the support of the surface beneath you. I'm going to offer some silence and then the chime for an opportunity for you to close your practice. So do know there's no hurry to move. When you do want to move, perhaps wriggling your fingers and toes, or maybe moving to rest on your side. If you like, taking a moment to acknowledge your practice. Excuse me. Maybe acknowledging your purpose for your practice. Perhaps it was to nurture yourself, connect with yourself, maybe something else. But if you like, in your own time, maybe acknowledging your practice to yourself. So I'd like to say thank you for practicing with me, for those that are here on this Mother's Day, and wish you well. All those mothers out there, and those mothers who are mothers to other children, whoever they might be. All those women who, or people who have mothered, even though they might not be their own children. I wish you well on this day. Take care, travel safe in your bubble, and I will do my best to be back here tomorrow at 12 midday. I will upload a new browser, so hopefully my laptop will work. If not, I will be prepared with my camera or my phone to have it set up so you can see me more easily. So, till tomorrow, ka kite anō.